Hello everybody and welcome back to Cincinnati Zoo's Home Safari. Today we're in here with our Bongo antelope. This is little 10-month-old Adana, but we lovingly call her Addie. Isn't she sweet? She's munching on some treats that we have here. These guys are the largest forest-dwelling antelope in the world. And there's her mama. That's Stevie over there. Hi, Addie. Does Addie want a carrot? Yeah? She's like, no, I'm going to take this alpha ox, which is really, really yummy. They like that. It's like a cured, dried alfalfa, and it has some probiotics, and our nutritionist found us that nifty little treat item. So, like I said, these guys are the largest forest-dwelling antelope in the world, and in my opinion, the most beautiful. They have this striking red chestnut color to their coat and these beautiful white stripes, which help camouflage them in the forest. So these guys live in deep forests. They're named by mountain bongo. There are lowland bongo also, which are more in Western Africa. And these guys are Eastern mountain bongo, and they're concentrated pretty much just in Kenya at this point, and they are critically endangered. There are many, many, many times more in captivity than there are in the wild, unfortunately. But fortunately, they do reproduce in captivity very easily. So hopefully when more strongholds are available, they will be able to return in stronger numbers and greater protection in the wild where they come from. So like I said, in Kenya at higher elevations is where these guys come from. And you see little Addie or Adana, she's munching on this alpha ox, but they also like to eat the grass out here in their yard, and they like to eat the leaves, and we do have to protect the trees because they like to chew on just about anything that is plant oriented. These guys, maybe if you were tuned in a while back, we did a home safari with our okapi, and they are not related. However, they do share one characteristic of a prehensile tongue, and that just means that they can use their tongue kind of like a finger, and it wraps right around leaves on trees, and because these guys are more browsers than they are grazers, although they are eating the little treats off of the ground right now, you can see. And if you hear the squawking in the background, that's our lovely flock of flamingos that are getting ready to nest. So they're all a twitter, I guess you could say. So you might notice that Stevie, her mom, Addie's mom, has some beautiful horns here. Now, this is not common to see antelope, the females, having horns, and she found my bucket of treats. So she's going to come up and eat some more of the treats out of my bucket. Anyway, the females of Eastern mountain bongo have horns, as well as the males. And maybe, if I can get her to come up here, she'll show us that prehensile tongue, and it's really long, and she's like, just give me the lettuce. And she's gonna go back in my bucket. You're a stinker. So Stevie here, she was born here, so I've worked with her since her birth, so we have a really great relationship together. She's about 8 years old. She was born here in 2012, and as Mother's Day is fast approaching, we're going to celebrate that with her precious little baby Addie, and also her birthday's coming up. So towards the end of this month, Stevie has her 8th birthday, which is about kind of middle age for bongo. They can live into their very late teens and even early 20s. So, and I know you guys are sending in questions already, so keep those coming, and we'll try to get to as many as we can. And hopefully everyone is paying close attention to some of the things that we're talking about, because there will be a little quiz at the end, so you can reference some of the stuff that we've been talking about in order to to answer those things. So back to the horns, you saw Stevie's were pretty nice and big. Addie's, hers are just coming out. They're cute little horns sticking out here. And then the bulls, the males, they have much broader, much heavier horns than the females. And they just do one twist, and they can get around 2.5 feet long. So really nice long horns. There you go. And they're enjoying those treats like crazy. But I'm going to check in and see if maybe we have a couple questions that are ready, and I can start answering some of those for you guys.
Jay wanted to know, what is their gestation?
Oh, good question, Jay. So these guys, unlike some of our other larger hoofstock species, just meaning animals with hooves, they're about 9 months, 9-month gestation, so just like us.
Emily wants to know, how many babies do they have at a time?
Okay, so normally just one calf, one baby. These guys are in the same family as other bovines, so any antelope species that you see are actually very closely related to any bovid, any bovine, a cow. They all are ruminants, and they have multi-chambered stomachs. So these guys usually just have one, but it is possible to see twins.
Chloe wanted to know, how long do the babies stay with their mom?
So these guys can wean at about 6 to 9 months. However, typically in captivity, we're staying together for at least a year. And a lot of times with these guys, since they're not solitary, like, she wants some more treats. They're not solitary like the okapi. They actually live in very small family groups. So they can stay together much longer. And the bulls, or the males, they kind of stay loosely around the females, and they don't keep the girls in a certain area. They'll just kind of come and go where females are, so they don't stay with a particular group.
Jessa asked, how long does it take for their horns to grow out?
How long to take for their horns to grow out? So that would be, when they reach full maturity. Hello, Addie. So that's going to be, oh, she's so stinking cute. That's going to be about 4 to 5 years of age, where they would have the full length and kind of girth of those horns.
Nate asked, are they endangered?
Yes, they are critically endangered. Like I mentioned before, these are eastern mountain bongo, and unfortunately these guys are critically endangered, which essentially means that there are many more in captivity than there are in the wild, and their numbers are actually down to about 100 individuals at high elevations, mostly around Mount Kenya. The western lowland bongo, they're near threatened, so their numbers are dwindling as well for some of the same reasons: poaching and logging, habitat loss, things like that.
Rose wanted to know, how long can they live?
So these guys are pretty long-lived antelope bovine species. They can live into their very late teens and early 20s.
Laurel asked, why do they have stripes?
Oh, great question. So these guys have some beautiful striping. We hear all sorts of things about what stripes mean with the okapi and these guys, and they are not part zebra. It's just a great camouflage. So the differences between say a bongo with stripes and a zebra with stripes, it's camouflage, but they use it in different ways. These guys are dense forest animals, so they use their camouflage to hide amongst the trees, the play on the light and dark coming through the canopy, whereas the zebra are a herd animal, and they would use that to confuse predators about where one starts and the next one begins.
Kamaya asked, what is their best sense?
Oh, well, let's see. Oh, she just showed you. Did you see that? Stevie, come here. Can you show them your best sense? Oh, yeah. See those great big ears? So the better to hear you with. These guys have an acute sense of hearing. They also have a great sense of smell, like other bovine species. So they would use that hearing to listen for threats in the wild. And they're very alert, and they will kind of keep their back to what the danger might be. And these guys can take off in a sprint through very, very dense vegetation and just put those beautiful horns on their back, and about 35 miles an hour straight through dense forest.
Taryn asked, what do they use the horns for?
Good question. So what do they use their horns for? So most animals with horns is pretty much the same. The females, well, everybody, male and female, are going to be using those to root for things in the ground. So they do eat roots, they do eat fungus, they do eat bark, so they can pry those things. Hi, baby. They can pry those things with those horns, also to protect themselves. They're great weapons, and the boys, they do a little bit of sparring for females, although it's not known in this species to have very major confrontations like some other species. They just mostly display. I can't get away from Addie. She just really wants these treats. Trying to show off her horns. Hi, baby. Say, I want some peanuts. Give me the peanuts. But yeah, that's what they use their horns for. They're beautiful. Unfortunately, they're sought after for these horns. But yeah, they're great tools of nature.
Greta wondered if we've ever had to trim their horns.
No, we've never had to trim their horns. So animals with horns like antelope and other bovine, they have, so there's a difference between horns and antlers, right? So deer, cervids, they have antlers which are shed usually just once a year, sometimes more than that. And then antelope, their horns, they stay with them their entire life. So they continue to grow and to slough off a little bit. But the main part of the horn is going to stay with that animal its entire life.
Marisol wondered if they have any predators.
They do. The question was about predators. Not sure if you guys could hear that. So they do have some natural predators, which are, mostly your big cats. But the biggest issue that these guys face is man. It's poaching and habitat loss and illegal activities that we do. So we're working hard to correct that so we can have a nice, safe place for these guys to be for a long time.
Giovanna wanted to know, what color is their tongue?
What color is their tongue, Giovanna wants to know. Well, let's see if we can get Stevie. And the sun is shining. Let's see. Nope. Well, it's kind of pinkish, purplish, and like I said, it's prehensile, which means they can wrap it around things. But she's not. I have so many little goodies out here for them right now. She doesn't really want to work for it. So, but they have a really cute tongue. She can stick it out really far to grab the yummy things that she wants.
Our last question is from Ella. She wondered, is their fur soft or is it coarse?
Oh, well, it's, so the question is their coat soft or coarse? So it's, I think it's in between. So if we're talking about an okapi, that's going to be super soft like velvet. And if we're talking about a zebra, that's really coarse. So these guys, you can see how shiny she is. And somebody just went by and she was like, whoo. So they have great reflexes, as you can see. She showed that off nicely. But yeah, it's kind of in between, kind of silky smooth. But if you rough it up the other way, it's going to be a little bit coarse. And that was our last question, guys. So I really hope you enjoyed today's home safari. And Stevie says goodbye. Goodbye, Stevie. There was your tongue. Thank you for that. And then Addie. Goodbye, Addie. And hopefully you guys will all be able to come see these guys very, very soon. She says goodbye. And thanks for joining us, and make sure you check out our little quiz at the end and have fun with that. Thanks, guys.